Welcome everyone to Titan Esports. It is not Conquer League, it is Divinity League, and we are week number 3 into that. I'm KO Payne, I'm joined with Chong, and today we have a pretty hype matchup. Both teams are 2-0.
Yeah, I mean, this should be a great one for our cross-group matchup. Definitely not how it was drawn up in it, but having two 2-0 teams for the first week of cross-groups, it's going to be fantastic. We got Ronduit Resports against Andromeda Esports. I'm forgetting what the A stands for off the top of my head. I apologize, guys. Avengers, that's what it is. But, yeah, no, two really good teams. A lot of players I know a little too personally, playing with a lot of them and getting to cast a lot of them as well. So really, really excited for this matchup here we got tonight.
Yeah, definitely. And both teams are looking pretty poised. I believe Andromeda is in the power rankings number 1 and Ronduit number 3 or 4. But, you know, after this week, that can all change. So we'll see how that goes. We'll be heading into draft pretty shortly, but week 3 of our 7-week regular season, we head into playoffs. So a lot on the line for these players, and a number of them we've seen quite a bit in the circuit in Divinity League as well, like Ludacris, Cosign K, Black Eyed Peas, so to name a few of them. And very excited to see how these matchups go, particularly in that jungle matchup. I think that should be a pretty exciting one.
Yeah, definitely. Both these junglers with Coach Silent K and Black Eyed Peas, much more of the facilitator style junglers, a lot of Jarvans, Amumus, Trundles, champions like this. So expect them to be having a very contested pool. Wouldn't be surprised to see Coach play like this in Zhao or Peas pull out the Wukong. But for the most part, their pools are very similar. But my eyes are more so on this bot lane. I know Kills has been tearing it up over in Blue Otter League after joining in late in the season. I think he has like 4 pentakills in the season already. Whoa. And they like came in like 2 weeks late. So he has absolutely been on a tear over there. So definitely going to have to be keeping our eyes on him versus Mafal, who is relatively a newer player into the platinum scene, but has been doing relatively well for himself in a few of the leagues that he has been playing in. So really excited to see these two.
Yeah, definitely. Going to see, do you happen to know what Kills got the pentakills on?
I think it was like a Jinx, I think like 2 Smolders, a Jinx game, and like something else. Like, yes, the pentakill champions, but I think coming in 2 weeks late into like a 7-week regular season and getting 4 pentakills or like 3 pentakills is still kind of ridiculous, honestly.
No, for sure. And I mean, I play a lot of Smolder. I'm not getting pentakills like that, so still have to work for it. So yeah, very excited to see how that one's gonna play out. We do play these matches in fearless style draft. So what that means is that any champions used in the previous games cannot be used in the subsequent games. Obviously, first game, everything is on the board, and it's a best of 3. As we see Ash be the first one banned out, it looks like Andromeda is gonna be on that blue side with the first pick.
Yeah, we can also see here, just for clarification for everybody, the ranks under their records. Both teams are 2-0, and this is cross group. They're both first place in their respective groups. So just a little bit mistake there, but we can see. Oh, okay. So Ronduit is on the blue side while Andromeda's on the red side. So looking at the bans here, the Ashe ban made a lot more sense going against Mafal than it did for Kills, and I mentioned it, the Smolder ban gonna go away. That Akali ban is focused on Cyclone, one of his more played champions up there with his Hui, as Vigar gonna be banned away from Verso, and then an interesting Nasus ban away here. Not really expecting that to be a ban away in the first phase here.
Yeah, I wonder if that's to target particularly Coach Sign K or Ludacris too, as NASA Jungle is growing a little bit in popularity. But either way, we're not going to see that at least in the first game. Surprised about the Smolder ban too, because I don't think Smolder's nearly as strong as it was on a few previous patches ago. But could be a pretty annoying champ to face, especially the later the game gets, as we get a Caitlyn first pick, going to be going over to the kills.
Yeah, that's definitely an interesting first pick for me, just because I know Ipsy is much more of an engaged style player, and typically you want to be pairing the Caitlyn with the more of those range supports like the Morgana, the Karma, and the Lux, but doesn't mean she can't be played with engaged still. Like, if you have a good Alistair or a good Nautilus, it still sets up Caitlyn very well to have an aggressive lane, still have that push power, as we do get the Jinx answer from the fall, and then the Wukong pickup for Code Silent K, who I think is currently one of the strongest junglers on the patch, and here's another one of them. The Jarvan going to be picked up here. I think like the three S tier, Z tier champions are like Wukong, Xin Zhao, and Jarvan, kind of the kings of the junglers for the longest time ever. As the Nico's going to be locked in. So I was saying that normally Ipsy does play these engaged champions. Nico's great at that, but Nico is also good at giving you a lot of harass in lane and push prio, so works very well to pair up with that Caitlyn. So Ronduit already having some solid engage and range options for themselves, but Andromeda going to get some really good engage options themselves to go alongside that Wukong. They're going to pick up the Maokai, which is going to be support there for Notorious TLP. So have a lot of ways to start off the fights already on both sides, as now the Zahen and Darius are going to be the two ban away so far. Still need to see what comes out in top lane and mid lane in both ones. I'm curious to see where the counter pick is going to be focused on for the side of Andromeda. If I had to assume, they might try to give it to Cyclone, just because I know his champion pool a little bit better than Ludacris, and he has much more he has better champions to be able to play those counter picks in. Like, he does have the Yone that he can play. We saw the Akali already get banned away, but I feel like they're just going to maybe blind the Renekton here for Ludacris' most played champion. This is actually just going to be a blind LeBlanc pick here for Cyclone, throwing that on the gauntlet early here in the series.
Yeah, going to give the counter pick to Ludacris. Blind LeBlanc could be solid here. They have a lot of front line as well, but you're going to get counter pick with that Galio, and Galio, I believe, is pretty strong right now. But you can kind of dance around that matchup as LeBlanc. Could be pretty annoying for the Galio to lock down, but I do like that Galio pickup. Now, do you have a solid matchup? Oh, and the Scion pickup too. I was going to say, yeah, they don't have a ton of front line so far with just the J4, but with the Galio and the Scion to round things out, Scion, pretty solid blind pick in this top lane. Just always going to have a lot of utility in the late game. Let's see how they're going to do. Oh, it's going to be the Shen to round it out for Ludacris. Okay, some beefier pickups in the later stages. I mean, both comps look pretty solid. Late game Jinx is definitely pretty strong, but the poke from the Nico Caitlyn lane is going to make that bot lane pretty annoying to deal with, I think.
Yeah, I'm just a little bit worried about the damage output on the side of Ronduit Resports, just because they're really relying on this Caitlyn and this Jarvan to be their main damage outputs. And I mean, Jarvan can put out a lot of damage, but if he's not getting involved early and is just farming up, he's going to really fall off in comparison to the damage that Wukong can put out, along with this Jinx and this LeBlanc. Really have like two really solid carries, while the side of Rondo really only has one. But top lane should be interesting because, yes, the Shen is a beefier champion, but the builds he's been going nowadays, Titanic Hydra into Dusk and Dawn, taking Ignite, you can absolutely run over a game with Shen nowadays instead of just being that supportive R button to save your carry. So definitely going to be a great game here for game number one. But I think Ronduit, engage-wise, they definitely outshine Andromeda, but it's the question of how well can Cyclone play on this LeBlanc with those flank angles. Look for those 100-0 boost on kills on this Caitlyn.
Yeah, definitely good. Yeah, definitely gonna be looking for kills as much as possible. Maybe Yipsy. Everything else is actually pretty annoying for, I feel like, Cyclone to try to take down, particularly that Scion Galio. But hopefully you have enough front line for Grim to just dish out on that Jinx, especially if you get some of those resets. I like both comps a lot, actually. I think it just depends. But if you get kills, if you take out kills pretty early on these fights, that could be a lot of damage missing from Ronduit, and Andromeda can just run them over after that. I mean, there's just so much CC on both sides. So we'll kind of see how well they can protect kills in this matchup. But here we go. Game number one, Ronduit versus Andromeda.
And I did see right before we loaded in that the regular bot lane for the side of Andromeda is not playing this week. They've subbed in Grimdifier and Mr. Lean. So going with a different bot lane than they normally run. I don't think that should affect them very much. Both these players are very good in their own rights, but definitely could be a little bit chaotic at some points without like potentially having your main shot caller around, as Ludicrous already going for the early trades here. Didn't take Ignite and didn't go Doran's Blade, so doesn't really have that 1v1 kill pressure in the early game. Just looking to scale up and be much more of a facilitator on this champion.
Yeah, speaking of scaling though, that Scion's definitely going to be scaling as well, especially without as much kill pressure from the Shen. So these top laners might not really be killing each other too much. Just maybe just going to try to stack some grass stacks, but Scion's definitely going to stack some of that health much faster with that W.
Yeah, and I really don't expect a lot of kills to be coming out in this early game unless Black Eyed Peas gets involved super early, which Jarvan can do. Not going for that level 3 play because we can see he's on his top side, but normally sometimes Jarvans just clear their bot side, go for a level 3 gank, try to burn a flash early or something like that, but just going to power clear down to the bot lane, and it looks like Coach Silent K going to be doing the exact same thing. A little bit behind, you could say, on his clear just because he did go in for that ward early, so he's now on his Krugs, which is going to take him longer to get to the bot side, so that's going to give the gank timer advantage to the side of Black Eyed Peas. As level 2 hit for the bot lane, Mr. Lean takes a lot of damage from the Caitlyn Nico lane, but overall just going to drink those potions and be a-okay.
Yeah, as expected with this double range lane, especially from the range of Caitlyn alone, but Maokai not really going to be able to pressure, especially in these early levels. And we'll kind of see how much they can weather Storm. Grim still trying to get as much CS as possible. But this mid lane, I don't know. Yeah, I think you're right. Like, there's just not going to be a lot of kill pressure in general, right? Especially if the bot lane Andromeda plays pretty safe, and they don't get too greedy with it here. As Ethereal Chains is going to land onto Galio. Oh, but a fantastic taunt, and the Justice Punch lands as well. So a good trade back, but Cyclone still taking a little bit more decent of a trade versus Verso in that one.
Yeah, and it was just a well-played timer there by the side of Cyclone. Unfortunately, he does get tagged by that Justice Punch there at the very end, so Verso is able to trade some of the damage back, but Cyclone really showing his prowess on this champion and those trade windows early. It's just going to be the question of if he's ever going to have that 100-0 burst on Galio, and most likely he's not, because Galio is going to build into that Hollowed Radiance. He's going to build those Merc Treads, and he's just going to be unable for Cyclone to actually burst through. As you can already see on that early recall out of Verzo, he's picking up that Null Magic Mantle, already getting that magic resistance early for him. As we can see here, Peas took a little bit longer to clear than I expected, so the side of Andromeda able to get a ward, and Coach Silent K is already here, and with the lane being pushed in favor of Andromeda, he's going to start up the Scuttle Crab, but this could be dangerous. He's in a 3v1 situation.
Oh, nice, and here buffer. It comes as Black Eyed Peas going to get rooted up, but does get out there to safety, so avoids any potential early first bloods right here, as both junglers fighting for control over this bottom river, but looks like Andromeda is going to have a firmer grasp on that, which is actually pretty solid given that they didn't really have a lot of prio in that bot lane. Justice Punch not going to land, but here comes Coach Silent K, and Verso in trouble. It's going to be ignited, and first blood going over to the side of Andromeda. And looks like, I believe it was a LeBlanc that picked that one up. Maybe it was Wukong. No, it was a LeBlanc.
Yeah, and that was just a snowball play from the Scuttle Crab because, you know, Black Eyed Peas is forced off the Scuttle Crab because of the bot prio. Coach is able to just walk in, get that extra bit of damage to help Cyclone secure that first blood in what could be a tough matchup, as we're going to get the replay of it right here. So Cyclone just gets the wave control. Verso comes back. He's full HP too, right? Doesn't TP, doesn't flash or anything. Uses the Justice Punch on the wave. And then we'll see how he gets caught here. He just walks in with no vision. Okay.
Yeah. I don't think he's expecting the Wukong to be anywhere in this general area. Especially not coming from his side of the jungle, right? But you can see great maneuver from Kosan K and Cyclone just baiting Verso into this positioning. And just a great flank from Kosan K to pick up that first blood and help Cyclone get some extra gold, especially in a matchup that's not really ideal for LeBlanc.
Yeah, definitely going to be massive. We'll have to see how good the side of Cyclone is able to snowball this one now. Don't get confused, not game number 2, still in game number 1 here. As yeah, we'll see how much Cyclone can actually snowball this now, because LeBlanc should just be able to clear these waves, especially once you get that level 6. You can double distort onto the wave, clear it super quickly, and then look for a roam timer. So definitely going to be a good one.
All right, Coach Silent K and Mr. Lean going to start up this Drake on the Mountain Drake, I should say. There you know, it's actually not too bad, right? I thought that Ronduit was going to have a lot of prio in this bot lane, but looks like they're recognizing that the J4 is not going to be there in time, so they should be able to burst this down faster than the response from the rest of the team. Virtual is level 6 though, so here's entrance is possible as Kills is going to be instantly bursted down, and unfortunately the Drake not stolen either, so Black Eyed Peas not able to get anything out of it, and they lose their AD carry on top of it. 2 kills going over to Cyclone, and that's not going to be a good sign in this late game. Fairly even on CS, but that extra gold from the kills is going to make things pretty tough, especially for these squishier champs outside of Ronduit.
Yeah, and that was just a well-played dragon play by the side of Andromeda. The second Peas gets into the pit, they pull off of it. The only one still hitting it was Black Eyed Peas. So the damage goes lower, regens up a little bit. They get the pick onto kills, and then immediately turn into a play as Coach on K's in the bot lane again. Kills still has all summoner spells, so gonna be okay. 9 caliber net gets him to safety, but yeah, the side of Andromeda just played that one very well, and getting a second kill over to Cyclone is absolutely insane here, just because we know what LeBlanc can do in a late game situation, but being accelerated that early can make it even harder for the side of Ronduit to be playing the map.
Mr. Lean caught in a tough position, going to have the back for now, and you can see the bot lane of Andromeda actually catching up now, ahead on CS. We're pretty much even between the two 80 carries, but you do get a little assist gold from onto Jinx, and that's a pretty good spot to be in, right? Because you are facing that double range lane as Ludacris and Dave's just going to be fighting in the top lane. Again, neither can really kill each other, especially without any ignites, without any real aggression there, so both just kind of just farming up these minions, and you can see even the CS almost exactly even.
Yeah, the big CS gap is in that mid lane. Cyclone almost up to a 20 CS lead already at this point in the game, as Coach level 6, P's not yet. Found out, Coach flashes in.
And Black Eyed Peas is still level 5, so the Cyclone and the ultimate from the side of Coach K is going to be huge. Here comes Hero Entrance, but a little bit low. Coach K still might be in a tough position, though. Going to get taunted up. That makes Smash is going to land for some brief damage, but Dibs actually goes down for it, so they end up losing 2 members for nothing so far, and eventually everything falling apart on the side of Ronduit. And Verso just going to have to get out here, too. I don't think can take this 1v3, even with a low HP Coach Silent K. Great timing on that fight from Coach Silent K.
Yeah, just really well played. He got the third Scuttle Crab, which gives him the level 6 over Black Eyed Peas, and then just immediately goes for the play. He knows Peas doesn't have flash from that dragon when he had the flash out of the back of the pit, so just flashes aggressively, gets the Cyclone knockups, and then even though he gets low from Verzo coming in and Dobbs on that rotation over, Ludacris is able to get that Stand United, to get that shield, which allows Coach to live through that play. A third kill goes over to Cyclone on this LeBlanc, as Kills gets extremely low again, and now Mr. Lean is in a bit of an awkward position, completely isolated from Grim Defier, but just going to be fine. And you can see Verso really suffering here in this mid lane. Even, like, yes, it is a okay lane for the side of Galio, but, like, you're still ranged into melee. It is still rough for you to farm, and now that Cyclone is this accelerated even harder. Yipsy flash in.
Here comes the Pop Blossom too, and it looks like Grim's going to be the first to fall. They finally get on the board on side of Rondo, but they're looking for more as Mr. Lean trying to buy some space, trying to get out here, but I just don't think Mr. Space has what it takes to get out, and the net to the Piltover Peacemaker gives Kills another kill.
Yeah, very well played there by Ipsy, just able to find Grim Defier, gets the flash Pop Blossom, Grim not able to flash in time, pops the barrier, still goes down. Yes, Ipsy's the one to pick up that kill, but luckily Mr. Lean, because he was in such an awkward spot, Kills is able to find that one, get his first of the game, and get some much needed gold going in back of favor of Ronduit.
You can see the level discrepancy is growing a little bit, but nothing too crazy here, as mostly it's in that jungle side. CS differential is also probably the biggest there outside the mid lane. But very needed kills there, especially, you know, as we see the Hex Optics is going to be complete up on the Caitlyn, so have that early item is going to be important, because again, kills is going to be a lot of the damage. I mean, we saw on that top side earlier fight, right, where the, you know, mid laner, top laner, and jungler were all there for Ronduit, but they just didn't have the damage to take anyone out from Andromeda, and I feel like it's just only going to get harder as the game goes on.
Yeah, and you can see first items already completed here. You have the Luden's Echo on the side of Cyclone as looking to go in on P's, but just distorts back. And then you have the Hex Optics already picked up 4 kills. Ipsy going with that early full completion of the Sword Shoes as well, looking to be another damage option for the side of Ronduit in this one. Just because they have the Galio mid, they have the Psy on top. P's is a little bit behind, so going where are we going to get this AP damage from to be able to cut through some of these guys, and says, don't worry guys, I'll go full AP on the Nico and it'll be enough. And people forget Nico used to be played in the mid lane and would put out a whole lot of damage as a full AP mage, so still looking to do that from the support role this time around.
Yeah, definitely. And Versal does have a little bit AP built in as well, so can do some necessary damage if need be. But a lot of the damage they are probably going to try to mitigate from the Caitlyn. As you can see, there's going to be a flank coming here as Cyclone trying to get some kills and doesn't land the Ethereal Chains, but does do a little bit of damage to Yipsy. So great recognition from the bot lane of Ronduit. But Drake is up, and it looks like Andromeda looking for their second one.
Yeah, they have so much vision control in the area already just because they're winning in mid lane. Their bot is able to get shoved slightly faster than the side of Ronduit, which is definitely not what I expected. But Peas now has vision on this dragon. He has flash up again. He could look to try to steal this one. Dobbs TPs to the top lane, so that means TP advantage on the side of Andromeda. We'll see if he goes for it, but with no vision, just going to back away.
Ooh, and Psycho just coming through too, scaring Black Eyed Peas a little bit. Black Eyed Peas doesn't have that item completed yet either, as you can see the Wukong already has a Sunder Sky completed. So was probably just going to sacrifice his life if he were to do that, as it looks like there's some nature scraps coming through, but nothing really happened there. As we can see, Cloud Drake was indeed secured by Andromeda.
Yeah, and I think right now Peas needs to just kind of focus on getting his jungle item completed. He's been trying to make a lot of these gank plays, and you can see he's down quite significantly in the jungle smite completion. Before he took the Krugs and the red, he was down 6 full camps in comparison to Coach Silent K. So just needs to get that going a little bit quicker, try to get that smite online so it's not fully in favor of Andromeda. As now Ludacris and Dobbs fighting in the top lane, and Shen's starting to take this one over.
Yeah, and Dobbs a level behind. Neither have a fully completed item, but I mean, I think in the late game, Dobbs will still be in a good position and has only really died earlier when helping out his jungler. So we'll kind of see which top lane's going to have a little bit greater impact in these fights. I mean, both have CC, both are pretty beefy frontliners too, and I think it just really depends on if they could catch any of them out of position. As Mr. Lean going to try to grab some vision, but Yipsy might be calling tough position as Nature Scraps is not yet ready, so can't really do too much follow-up CC. As Yipsy, though, just going to get bursted down as Cyclone is there for the gank. Mr. Lean going to take an ace in the hole, but healthy enough to get out there.
Yeah, he also did pop heal just to be sure he doesn't fall down there. But yeah, Ipsy still without that flash from getting that kill on the Grim Defier is just caught in a bad spot. Cyclone able to not get the kill because Mr. Lean did steal away with Bramble Smash, but now Grim could be the one being focused down here. Does have flash, gonna use it.
Forces the flash, but the Cataclysm comes out, and here comes the Stand United. Black Eyed Peas doesn't think this is going to be a great position. Oh, as the Super Mega Death Rocket does land onto the Caitlyn, and Black Eyed Peas is caught in a tough position. Here comes the Hero's entrance, but I think it's a little too late, as Black Eyed Peas is going to be the next to fall. Now Cyclone is coming down for some additional backup. Verso is going to take a good chunk of damage, but all 5 members here are strong from the side of Andromeda. And here comes the TP back over from Ludacris. So providing the support to keep their ADC alive, and Yipso Verso still caught in a tough position, still waiting for the Caitlyn to come back into lane. Ludacris having the time of day here, as going to help out the bot lane, now going back up to try to go for a Silco onto Dobbs. I think Dobbs should be able to get out here, no problem. Still has an unstoppable onslaught, but providing a lot of value for his team.
Yeah, and you can see Ludacris already had that first item, the Titanic Hydra, and because it gets that first item completed, it makes the lane so much harder for Dobbs. Like, yes, he will be forever scaling in the HP department and get to a spot where it doesn't really matter when Ludacris goes onto him, but as of now, Ludacris can still get a solo kill. It just takes a long time. But the side of Andromeda just playing so well around both Coach Island K and Cyclone's timers and just making really good plays, as Versa's going to go in, but nice Bramble Smash there by Mr. Lean. to stop any further aggression. And the side of Andromeda just playing the map extremely well so far in this early game. Ronduit, they do scale a little bit. They don't have such they have like the Jarvan, who is like the early game champion, but like everybody else on their team really wants to get to that first item. Cyclone just deletes kills off of the map.
Yeah, I mean, the tier 3 boost plus the Ludens, you got 5 Dark Steel stacks now too. I mean, Cyclone just dishing out damage, and I mean, 3 levels ahead of the Nico too. Oh, actually, no, it was kills actually that died there, but still, that level advantage is going to make things pretty difficult, and kills not having the best time in this one, and I don't really know if it's really his fault here. It's just that this LeBlanc is pretty fed, and LeBlanc is really going to look to target kills anytime that he's in that vicinity.
Yeah, and this is just kind of Cyclone's wheelhouse. Very good at these assassin-style champions on the Akali, Yone as well, LeBlanc as well. And just getting those kills early makes it so much harder for the side of Ronduit to really play the game, just because you have Caitlyn, you have Nico. These are not beefy champions. They are just going to get one-shot by Cyclone, and we literally saw that because Kills doesn't have Barry, he doesn't have Flash. Cyclone's just able to find the angle, get the full 100-0, and then just walk away scot-free. So this is really just Cyclone controlling the pace of the game to be played at the way LeBlanc wants to, get a lot of vision set up, get Fog of War pockets for the side of Ronduit, and then just look for these assassination kills before objectives, make it hard for them to walk in on anything. And he's just playing it extremely well.
Yeah, and Dobbs able to dish out some decent damage back over to Ludacris, especially being down a level. But Ludacris trying to play this out as best as possible. I mean, this was the counter pick that Ludacris picked into the Scion, but you can see the Scion starting to get a little bit more difficult to deal with. I mean, Ludacris is not really that far ahead in terms of gold or anything like that, so still a fairly even match, I'd say. But we're already seeing that health scaling of Dobbs being kind of a problem.
Yeah, and I'm really curious to see where Ludacris goes with his build after this. He could go for the... Oh, wait, hold on. Side ulti used in the top lane, but it looks
Unstoppable
like...
Onslaught. Yeah, it maybe landed on Ludacris and Black Eyed Peas is here, but Ludacris is just a little too far from the rest of the side of Ronda to maybe go for it. But Ace in the Hole does not take out Ludacris. Ignite is going to be used, and Ludacris comes out with, I don't know, it's got to be single-digit health HP on that one. Very, very close. They sent 4 members for it, though, so they need to at least grab this turret. But meanwhile, they have a great cross map, grabbing that Chemtech Drake. And on top of it, I think he's got a turret in the mid lane as well. And Cyclone just farming in the bot side. So really great escape from Ludacris and great macro from Andromeda to get something out of it on top of it.
Yeah, Ludacris is being a pressure sponge up there, gets 4 members to the top side, doesn't fall down thanks to the Shen passive on the Q, getting that little bit of a shield to live through everything. Ipsy even flashes to get an auto attack through, but Ignite just not enough to be able to finish that one off. Yes, Ronduit did get the top lane turret, but you saw how long it took because of that Bulwark passive just getting more resistances as it got lower, but Grim Defier able to get the first turret in the mid lane and then get a second plate for himself on the mid tier 2. And then at the meantime, Coach Island K puts his team on to Dragon Soul Point, picking up that Chemtech Drake in that whole time during that top play. So Andromeda really setting the pace, continuing to put the pressure. They're looking at that 21-minute Dragon Soul, and we'll see if they're able to get it, because Ronduit's gonna have to fight at that one, whether they like it or not.
Yeah, maybe not the best soul for in general, but you'll take a Chemtech soul over no soul any day. And they're already 5k goal ahead in just 18 minutes. And things are not looking great for Ronduit. As you can see, a very aggressive position from Verso and Black Eyed Peas, but I don't think they have the damage to follow up, as Kills is here and Yipsy is trying to follow it up. But Verso already getting burst down quite a bit, and you do not want Grim to get Jinx excited, because then that is where the damage really comes through. Here's Entrance moving only just a sliver away from where he was already positioned, and the Super Mega Death Rocket is going to secure up that kill. Grim going to be the one to pick that up. And Cyclone looking to try to take kills out in this position, and Cyclone taking a good chunk of damage. Ace in the hole is going to be blocked from the clone. Cataclysm has already been used, and now Mr. Lean going for some additional peel for that LeBlanc. Dobbs here in the middle of it, and no one's really killing Dobbs, but can Dobbs get someone back? And it's going to be Mr. Lean that falls, but that's just the support, and the fight is just continuing as Grim is here trying to space out as much as possible. And a Decimating Smash not going to land onto anything, as Ludacris is going to taunt up Dobbs. Dobbs going to flash out of the zap to try to get to safety. And I think they're in that entire trade, all they did was pick off the support on the side of Andromeda. But meanwhile, Andromeda looking for more, and Cyclone going so deep in there. I don't know about that one, as Verso does get the shutdown.
Yeah, he tried to get the kill on to Black Eyed Peas, but gets CC chained, can't get the W back out, and falls down. But overall, Verso was very aggressive in his path, and he's actually looking to get some damage onto Grimdefire here. He's going to get the Storm Raiders Surge, but he's going to have to back off. As we can see, Coach Silent K is on the Baron. Verso going to fall down to Grimdefire here, and that should just be Baron now going over to the side. Or sorry, Rift Herald. Got my timers wrong. My apologies, everybody. I swore it could have been 20 minutes with how far ahead Andromeda is right now, but not there quite yet. They're just going to fall back, get the Rift Herald, and just continue up the pace of this game. It was just very well played by them. Once Verso went in for that aggressive play, they were just able to turn on him so quickly and burst him down, and then made it really hard for the rest of Ronduit to play out the team fight. And you saw Dobbs come in, and he tried his best to be that front line and put out some damage. He put out a good amount of damage, but he went down so quickly to Grimdefire on this Jinx and just had to flash away, couldn't frontline anymore. And Kills is really the one who's been suffering the most in this game. That first pick, Caitlyn, just hasn't been what they wanted it to be in this game. They had the early lead in the bot lane, but that was about it. And he's just been suffering ever since. Anytime Cyclone is on the map, if he doesn't have flash, he's just going to be out for the next couple of seconds.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, and Cyclone dying there too for the first time was under turret CC there, but that was really the only way that Cyclone even died. Oh, here comes the Super Mega Death Rocket, not going to land onto Black Eyed Peas, but Black Eyed Peas has to be safe. They have vision this with this mid lane ward on top of it, and this Jinx is strong, a full item ahead of the counterpart in Caitlyn. And most members on the side of Andromeda do have their second items already. So it's going to be a pretty crucial fight here as they're looking to grab this inner turret, and they are going to be able to get it, and Cyclone just dish out more damage. Verso's here for the taunt, but there's no damage, and Ethereal Chains is going to land, but Verso is able to get out there. Here comes the Rift Shield crashing into the mid inhibitor turret at just 21 minutes. They're running away with this game, and Ronduit really needs a response. Oh, here comes the Unsolvable Force, though. It's going to land. It's going to land onto Maokai. But here comes the Nature Scraps, and the rest of the team is starting to collapse. Mr. Lean still survives it all, too. They just don't have the damage to kill anyone.
Yeah, and this is really rough for Ronduit. They, like you said, just don't have the damage to get through. Even the support, Maokai, didn't have Flash, used Locket, didn't have Heal at that time either, but was just able to live through it. And now I think Kills is just dead here once again.
Yeah, it's going to be Cyclone that picks up the kill yet again. The Cyclone from the Wukong was the initial CC there. You can see Yipsy trying to take out Cyclone. Cyclone going to be ignited, but does somehow get out of there with just a bit of HP as well. Very unfortunate for the side of Ronduit, and they're just turtling in their base already at just 22 minutes. Meanwhile, Ludacris has been up here by himself, having the time to save, farming up this lane, has to stand united if the team is there and needs to be there. But now, this is Chemtech, so at 22 minutes, I just see no way where Ronduit can even contest. The jungler is dead for another 5 seconds, and by the time he gets here, it is absolutely over for this Drake. And Andromeda putting on a clinic in this first game.
Yeah, and now because they already have the soul acquired, they can just start to look towards that Baron side, set up vision, set up picks, everything like that, the way they want to play with this composition because they have that LeBlanc, and just make it even harder for Ronduit because, like you said, like we've mentioned, they don't have the damage to take down anybody unless they full CC chain them, and even then, I think they can only 100-0 Cyclone or Grim through that CC chain, so they really need to start getting a lot of gold onto Kills as much as possible, just so he can start getting these items to be able to start punching through people like Coach, like Mr. Lean, and Ludacris. But you can see here, he still isn't at that Infinity Edge. Jinx already has the Last Whisper in inventory and the Navori, not Navori, whatever that item is. Forgetting off the top of my head, but getting closer and closer to that Lord Dominic's Regard, which is going to help you punch through the opposing tank in Dobbs. So just makes it even harder for Ronduit to set up a proper team fight.
And you can see Ludacris already dishing out a bit of damage. Soul Furnace is going to keep Dobbs alive for a little bit longer, as I think these top laners are just going to skirmish in that bottom lane for as long as they can. Meanwhile, they're trying to find advantages elsewhere. I think they are on the Baron now, and they're trying to shred it pretty quickly. I mean, they should be able to with Grim, but deciding to pull off here. Nation's Craft's going to be used, but not going to land onto anyone, as Black Eyed Peas and Yipsy just poking their heads out there. at least pull them off the Baron, which is solid. But they are now over 10k gold behind in this 24-minute mark, and they're facing a Chemtech Soul on top of it. I just don't really know what they can do outside just farm up and try to slow down the push. I mean, you do have some decent wave clear on the side of Ronduit, so you can at least stall the game a little bit. But until you really catch up on items, this gold differential is just going to grow further and further, and it's going to feel harder and harder to play into.
Yeah, and the side lane is no longer fun for Dobbs. You can see he's 2 levels down, and then it's a Titanic and a Dusk and Dawn already completed for Ludicrous as well. So he is able to get those kills, and now Verzo, the Justice Punch gets stopped, but a nice taunt gets him to that Super Blast Cone, gets him away, as now kills, barely lives, because he's able to 90 caliber net away from the distortion.
Oh, the flash forward, though, from Coach Cyclone goes for the Cyclone, but here comes the Pop Loss and going to stun onto 2 members. But Cyclone is here, and Grim is behind, trying to take out someone to get excited, and that's going to be a double kill going over to Coach K. Cyclone trying to lock down Yipsy, and Yipsy should be the one to go shortly after. And now Grim just chewing through that inhibitor, and Ludicrous, Dobbs just fighting it out, and Dobbs nowhere to be seen because just can't really back with Ludicrous just staying around there. They might just end the game here at 25 minutes. I don't think they have the defense for it, as Dobbs the only one left, and he's not even at full health yet. And there goes the second Nexus turn. Nexus only a few more autos away, but Andromeda going to close out this first game in just 25 minutes. Very dominant over Ronduit.
Yeah, and that game was like kind of just a snowball from that level 4 Scuttle Crab play where Peas gets forced away, and then they're able to get the first blood in the mid lane with Coach Silent K and Cyclone, and then they're just absolutely, the 2 of them as a unit, as that mid jungle pairing, just able to take over the entire map and just make it impossible for the side of Ronduit to play with this composition that they have drafted. So just really strong macro and understanding out of the side of Andromeda Avengers in this first game.
Yeah, and very, very tough game too. I mean, and there was that top side jungle fight too, right? With Coach K being a level ahead, having that Cyclone ready for the J4, and just J4 wasn't able to respond. I think they got 2 or 3 kills on that top side on top of it. Verso with the Galio counterpick just wasn't able to dish out the damage and provide the support needed, unfortunately, for the team. I mean, and I think the unfortunate part is the support Nico was the top damage dealer on the entire side of Ronduit. But they have time to recollect here, as we're going to head over to a game 2 shortly. We'll be right back, but don't miss out, because let's see if Ronduit has a chance to force a game number 3.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name's Romeo, and today we're going to be looking at the top 10 plays from Titan Week 1. These plays come up from across all of Titan's leagues, so be sure to stay tuned and see what the best plays from the opening of Titan were. Coming in at number 10, we have what happens when Silas and Galio ults at the same time.
Yep, Silas does come out not great as movie
the
white
flash
flashing.
Galio. And here comes the W, shield burn. And here we go, it's a fight, the Silas. That was wonderful to watch, but sadly, Saya will get there a little late. Now Fear got her reset, so now...
Coming in at number 9, I love a Mumu. You love a Mumu. It's a sad mummy with no friends. But what happens when Caxi, a player who maybe has friends, up for debate, goes in and curses with the sad mummy into a backline of 4 people and ultimately wins the team fight live on stream for his teams? Let's take a look.
Rage management. so they're gonna be able to pop onto that Mega right at the time that they need. But they're gonna find that curse of the Sad Mummy into the backline, looking for more True Shot Barrage through every person on your screen. Not much that they could do for Syndicate. Sushi Man showing up at the end there, not able to find the engage they're looking for with that flank, and meant to be more team fighting, more Dragons playing.
Coming in at number 8, we have Cassante doing Cassante things. It's an easy, simple 1v3, 1v4 angle for Pickle.
Land onto any members and be able to snare them up. B, looking for some way to enter into this fight and try to get maybe some kind of pick that'll be able to get be allowing TSI to be able to continue into the fight. Deadly Flourish going to be used as they do find Syndra off to the side. Hero interest coming down, trying to knock him up, be able to get 2 different members as the Pickle is looking at the bodyguard. Syndra able to walk away, opened up the curtains. The Pickle going to be able to take out Yunara, going unstoppable as they use the all out to go into the back line. Double kill as they take out the Lulu, and looking like a 1v5 man. Pentakill as he's looking for the 3rd kill. Not going to be able to take out BS. He gets shut down by Storm, and now they're looking for more as they continue to chase down 3 squishy members on the side of Singe left, as the Deadly Flourish is going to miss onto Storm, not able to get the snare. Laser dropped out from Syndra, trying to get the extra damage, but not going to be able to take out Storm.
Coming in at number 7, we have a play from Titan Ascendant League. Zaffa, Little Chuds versus Zaffa and Pals, where Seraphine turns the game around with a single encore. Let's take a look. And here comes Hisante into the river. Of course, that Baron up. Going to be trying to catch with that Xin Zhao. Not going to land the stun from Victor. Seraphine walking right behind them. Of course, lots of ultimates out. Here's an encore, and it lands on 4 of them. High Note's going to go land those stuns. Goofy Boy Joe just taking side shots. There's going to go 1, 2 over the side. Double kill, triple kill for Goofy Boy Joe. Coming in at number 6. What happens when Hui is able to survive a 2v1 gank halfway through the game? Let's face it, Hui's range is insane, but what happens when it's piloted perfectly in Conquerors League? And here's Hui in the top lane. Of course, it looks like we've got a little bit of a gank going on. Monkey Frosty trying to get on Darrison. Darrison, unique and Frosty. Darrison going to land that slow, but Hui able to get a lot of damage off. He's going to find unique Frosty. He might be out of there. Oh my god, he finds Young Call as well. Coming in at number 5, it's just a beautiful team fight. Let's face it, you draft a good comp that can just click R's, you're going to find good moments. That's what this play is. It's just a bunch of people slamming the alt button and winning the game because they drafted a little bit better. So let's go ahead and take a look at what arises. As we return to the Rift, Amumu on top of Nautilus in the back line. Ari gonna miss a stun. Here comes the Weaver's Wall. Talia gonna jump in a bullet time. It's huge! Curse of the Sad Mummy, they find 4! It's a quadra kill for kills. And maybe they're not done yet. Running into the base. They might be able to find it here. Scion trying to run to the turret, not gonna get far enough. There's the stun and kills. Able to claim a penta. Coming in at number 4, I remember when this play was sent to me for this video, I sat there and said, damn, that crocodile can do some crazy things. And on top of that, we get comms for this one, and they're hilarious. We're just going to go right into it.
Oh, that's not fucking good.
Yeah,
I'm on the way.
Just got hit with that was a waste of TP.
Careful,
Oh.
Buster, you're 1v5ing.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna walk away then. Maybe not. Oh, no good.
There.
We might be able to win this, bro.
Wait, you landed
Yeah.
easy. Holy fuck!
Yeah, I'm Thanos, bro. And so is
Lock it in,
Colin.
baby! Lock it in, baby!
They burned everything.
Let's
out.
fucking go,
shit.
Colin. Let's go, baby.
Coming in at number 3. Zaheen, however you pronounce his name. This play makes me miss Xin Zhao so much. Let's roll the footage.
From TSI walks in there, we could be seeing a free Drake come up in the next few seconds.
But we do have a little bit of a fight between the top laners going on, and hold on, Storm is gonna be able to take him down by himself. The Senna ult trying to save the Olaf, but it's not gonna be enough. You guys may have the advantage, but in the 1v1, the Trundle still takes it. And Trench and Crystal Arrow barely gonna miss onto the Senna as the laser drops. Guo now finding the enemy jungler, trying to dash away. BSW though, looking for the advantage. This is the fight that they're looking for. The second pick as the ultimate goes in. Tommy Buck is gonna be dropped by Syndra as he goes onto a killing spree, and they'll continue to chase down Guo, going to be dominating as he continues to look for Doggo. Looker, going to be a double kill going over to the him, and instead of a triple kill over to him, and they just can't take him down. Storm, you may be barreling down the top lane, but your team needed you near the dragon.
Coming in at number 2, we have the exact reason you need to make sure you know where the enemy jungler is when you're taking an objective. In Syndicate, Black Rose versus Mint to Be. Caxi stole one major objective that flipped the game, but didn't stop there. He ended up stealing both Baron and Elder Drake to win Mint to Be the series. Let's take a look at Caxi stealing some things.
Yeah, I can just keep bot.
And he only oh, he did it here. 1 HP.
They just got off Baron. Keep going, Mel.
How's that go?
Yeah, keep going, Mel. Seraphine, I will need vision.
I can't. Bro, what is my HP? What am I gonna give you vision with?
Don't steal. Don't try and steal.
Oh, I steal and get out. That's the thing.
I'm coming, bro. I don't think you can.
Yeah, I am.
Are you gonna flash in? Smite steal?
I'm liking this Caxi.
Oh!
Oh! Alright, where's the good out part?
Oh.
Maybe?
He's out!
Get our boy out of here! Oh, he's not out.
I'm out.
Worse. He is out. He is
Hitting it. They're hitting it. They're hitting it.
Yeah, they're just not allowed to do this.
Yo, Kelly, can you TP bot in the game?
No.
No, because then I'm gonna get screamed at, bro. And slurred out.
It's at 8k. Just kill this guy. Okay.
Go in.
Just kill this guy. Kill. Okay. You have to kite it now.
I got
We
the
got
other.
it. Nice. Dude, Caxi doesn't miss these shits, bro.
Never.
Yo, we
Wait,
have
just kill
TPs
this.
up. Can we
There we go.
TP
Yeah,
in?
just everything, please.
Ladies and gentlemen, you guys sent me so many plays that I thought it was only fair that I include 10 this week instead of 5. Usually we'll be doing 5. But I wanted to give some honorable mentions that didn't quite make our list.
Probably wasn't revering out.
Always in.
How it didn't go through. Whatever. Execute. Who cares?
Yeah, fast reset.
I was TPing.
Yeah, true. That's TF. That's TF. That's TF.
Apple.
And ladies and gentlemen, coming in at number 1, we have the reason I hate Vladimir. It's a beautiful pentakill right in the Baron pit, lining everyone up. Ladies and gentlemen, let's take a look at Sinners League of Legends Edition. Timings coming in. Los Hermanos. Maybe not going to be able to get into the pit in time. Linsky, of course, going to wave. The Baron has been started here. We got Foot Job. What a great name, of course. Make sure to just like annihilate the team with that. There's 420 on top. Jarvan gonna go over the wall. They're having a hard time finding their way into this Baron pit. It's already down to 6k. Baron could change the match right here. The Rumble ult is gonna go forward, doing a ton of damage. There goes 420, down to 2,000. Oh my god, a Shurima Shuffle, all 4 of them in the pit. They might steal Baron, but none of them surviving the play as Vladimir takes down 4, 1 more to go. It's gonna be a pentakill for Footjob. And that's it. Those were the top 10 plays of the week and some honorable mentions. We'll usually be doing top 5, but so many of you guys sent me clips, and I went through them with a couple of friends and picked out our favorite ones. I think I got like 20 submissions this week. So let's keep the ball rolling. I'm going to try to get one of these out every week. If you want to help me and get your clips submitted, send them to me, Romeo on Discord. You can go ahead and find me. Just drop the clip. Tell me what game it's from, what week it's a part of, just to make sure I know. and what teams we're playing, and if you can, what league it is. It makes the editing process so much easier, so I can get these out that much quicker. Also, make sure your time controls are off. If there's a VOD of casters, great. If not, I'll cast over it like I did for some of these clips. But again, thank you guys so much for making this possible, and I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know what you thought of this video, and we will see you on the cast.
Welcome back, everyone, to Titan Esports. It's week 3 of Divinity League, and we just saw a very dominant game. Andromeda taking that in just 25 minutes over Ronduit Esports. And yeah, we'll see kind of how Ronduit responds to that one, but that was a tough one. I'm K-Pain, I'm Joe Chung, and how you feeling after that one?
I mean, I feel bad for my boys over in Ronduit. Know these guys a little too well, but I'm also happy for my friends over in Andromeda who got the win. So this is a rough one for me to root for, but definitely on the side of Ronduit. Just I feel like you got to reshape your draft plan. I feel like it didn't work out the way you wanted it to. I was so worried about their damage profile coming in if they got behind, and we saw it exactly. They just had no damage because they got behind. Cyclone went absolutely dummy in that game. Coach Ion K had a great game, and everybody else just did their jobs on the side of Andromeda. Yes, Grim to Fire went down 1-2 times, but overall it didn't matter because of how accelerated his mid jungle are. So I feel like Andromeda kind of going to have more of the same game plan, kind of just try to bully Verzo, the lowest ranked player in this game, which is a feels bad moment for the side of Rondo Resports, but I feel like they have the mental fortitude to be able to bounce back from this one.
Yeah, I think so too. Andromeda is the team that I believe is number 1 in the power rankings in Divinity this split. So, and they're living up to that name. They were also predicted to take the victory over Ronduit Resports, but predictions only mean so much if they don't come true, as we are heading shortly to that draft for game number 2. And as a reminder, this is fearless format, so at least you won't see the LeBlanc again. So on the side of Ronduit, and that'll be a good one because Cyclone was popping off on that LeBlanc, and looks like Andromeda is going to have that blue side first pick. Ronduit opting for that counter pick in this one, and counter pick from last game did prove to be fairly useful. Ludacris had a fantastic game on that Shen, but honestly, I think if they played any other top laner that could hang with the Sion, that probably wouldn't have been that big of a deal either for them.
Yeah, I feel like on the side of Ronduit, they kind of needed that counter pick somewhere, and it felt like the one that they went for just didn't work out the way they wanted to with that Galio into the LeBlanc. But looking at this draft phase, I think bans are going to stay almost exactly the same. I'm curious if the Nasus ban is going to stick. I haven't been looking at a lot of these guys solo queue, so maybe Coach has been spamming it in solo queue, and that's why it's drawing the ban. But overall, I think it's going to be the same. Actually, we get the Trundle ban, which means the Smolder is still available. So now the side of Ronduit has to decide if they want to ban the Smolder or if they want to ban the Nasus. And they're just going to go with that Smolder ban, not giving it over to Grim to Fire. So that Nasus that was banned in game 1 is available for first pick here if Andromeda wants to get it. But if they know it's not a contested pick, you just pick whatever else you want first pick. It's going to be the Zahen, which was banned away in second phase before. Just going to go for that here, assuming that the Nasus isn't a contested pick. But now Ronduit has their opportunity to respond. I assume this is top lane for Ludacris, and Dobbs immediately going to lock in that Mordekaiser.
Yeah, and a lot of flex potential on both sides, right? Both Mordekaiser and Zahen could be in that jungle position as well. And I just don't know if, both top lane and jungle on both sides, respectively, have that potential. But with a Moon pickup, likely going to be that Mordekaiser on the top side, and a Mumu, very solid. I mean, there's a chance it could be a Mumu support, but we get the Xin Zhao. And that's likely going to be a jungler. But again, there is a lot of flex here, and you could play some Xin Zhao top lane too. So flexing all over the place is the name of game number 2.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be a Mumu support because it is not a real support pick. I've talked support picks with Ipsy for such a long time, but also Xin Zhao is not going to be in the top lane just because he did get nerfed. The healing that can come out from his W has gotten nerfed, and Static Shiv has also gotten nerfed pretty significantly. So you don't really see AP Xin Zhao anymore. You see the tried and true Sundered Sky, Titanic Hydra, Black Cleaver, just the normal bruiser items. It is so we have the response picks to every pick so far in each role, as the meld's going to be banned away. So I'm curious if the side of Andromeda thinks that could be a meld bot lane and banning that away from kills. But Viego as an answer to Aurora, the Zinzao was an answer to the Amumu, as the Mordekaiser was an answer to the Zahen. So what I'm really hoping for here is that both AD carries lock in their own champs, and then both supports lock in their own champs, so our producers don't have to do any work.
Yeah, very interesting ban. So I wonder if the picks were like in reverse order on the graphic, because why would you ban out the York when the top lane, top side in general, has already been picked up? And the Meld too is very curious too, because there's like almost all AP already on side of Ronduit. But either way, we get the Varus and the Senna pickups on either respective sides. Senna could be very, very strong, especially when we get stacking and stuff. But if the game ends as quickly as it did last game, then that probably won't come to fruition, as we get the Varus Seraphine combination here. It could be pretty strong. They have a lot of range in spot lane for Andromeda, but we saw that happen for Ronduit, and it didn't pay off as well for them, and they round out with a Nautilus. So pretty solid, but again, they might be lacking a little bit in damage if Verso and Dobbs don't get ahead super early, and a lot of it's going to rely on kills, but kills not going to have a lot of damage in the early game too. So it could be a tricky game as well if they don't drag this out to the longer time period.
Yeah, and I mean, just looking how everybody has locked in their own champions, it looks like the picks are not in order as you had suspected, Caleb, because of the bans that came out. But also, like, I think we casted a Senna game last week where I said in like a rougher matchup, Senna should just go with that Doran's Helm for the laning phase and you'll be fine. And I think this is one of those matchups where it's hard to figure out if you want to go Doran's Blade or Doran's Helm, because you don't really have that early game damage, but you have such good early game lockdown with Nautilus that like you can trade pretty effectively. But you're playing in a double range. They do have a lot of poke with the Varus and the Seraphine, so like it also does make sense to go for that Doran's Helm. It's not like it's a terrible option either. So it makes it really hard for Kills to decide what he wants to go for in this one. But Cyclone with that Aurora is kind of going to look to do similar things that he did with that LeBlanc in the first game, but I feel like he might have a tougher time now that Verso's on this Sylas. He can trade a lot more effectively against you, and has the potential to, do exactly what you want to do, steal away that ult, go between worlds, and just try to put out a lot of chaos into the opposing backside. So definitely going to be a fun one with the drafts that have come out. But like you said, if, Verzo or Dobbs kind of gets, put behind pretty significantly, it's really on Kills to put out all that damage, and it's not going to come until pretty late in the game.
Yeah, I'm a little concerned for Ronduit here, but maybe they have a game plan. A lot of these might be just champions they're very comfortable with, so we're going to see how that plays out. I'm very curious to see how Versus is going to play this, because obviously a very different play style than Galio, right? You have a lot of chances for aggression, and some really good early to mid-game trades can really snowball this Sylas. But Cyclone played a fantastic game in that first one, and very curious to see how they're going to respond to Verso. But I think we have our drafts loaded, and this means that Dobbs picked that Mordekaiser, I believe, as a counter pick to Ludicrous if the draft's order were reversed. So we'll see if that counter pick does play into fruition or not on that top lane.
I did get some insight on the drafts as it gets fixed, but one of the players did DM me the draft order, and like you said, the Mordekaiser was the pick into the Zahen, so did get that R5. Seraphine first pick is definitely an interesting one with Ash still being banned. Like, I feel like Seraphine Prio really falls down, but Mr. Lean just very valuing it in this game. So we'll have to see how it really does go for them in this bot lane, because I feel like Senna Nautilus has like a surprising amount of damage that you couldn't expect, and it could like be very punishing, especially at level 1, if you're able to blow summoners off the opposing bot lane as a side of Ronduit and then get P's down there on the Amumu super early for an early gank. Could really help accelerate kills on the Senna in this game, which I kind of feel like you need to, because that is your only source of AD damage in this game.
Definitely. Yeah, and we saw Andromeda as well. They had a pretty solid early game into the Ronduit bot lane. I believe it was partially because Coach Sanke did go for a few ganks here or there, but definitely going to have to play a little bit more carefully Ronduit in this game too, given that they are going to be the ones that are going to be outranged, especially in that early game. But yeah, the Nautilus early game damage cannot be underestimated. The question is, can you even get in range to do some of that damage? Because their Seraphine, I mean, it's no Ash Seraphine, but I feel like it's still going to be pretty annoying to play. And likely going to be the Poke Bears, I feel like, in this composition, because there's not really a lot of true tanks. Mordekaiser, like, if you're stuck in the realm of death with Mordekaiser's Bears, you're dead anyway. So, unless you're really, really far ahead, which at that point, then it doesn't really even matter for the outcome of the game.
Yeah, and I mean, what I'm more excited for, and you know, you might be a little bit excited, but it means you have to talk more, is how chaotic these team fights can actually become with like the Zahan and the Aurora and the Mordekaiser and the Silas as well. Like just counter diving back lines, just creating chaos with the Realm of Death. Like these team fights can deteriorate very quickly, and it really comes down to which AD carry has better position to be outputting consistent DPS. And obviously, if it's on hit Varus, he's gonna out DPS Senna in a team fight. But if it's lethality Varus, like he needs to position so well to be getting this poke out before a team fight actually starts, to be putting out, you know, low HP bars on whoever he hits to make it very difficult for the side of Ronduit to want to engage. But if he's on hit and he's like in a prime position to free fire in these team fights, when they do like break out into absolute chaos, it can be very difficult for Ronduit to have a response to it. But we'll have to see how they play this one out. I'm liking their draft a lot more, and I feel a lot more confident in their draft here in this game number 2. While Andromeda, similar style to what they had in game number 1, so going to be looking to go for that snowball again.
All right. Well, I think our players are ready as we're going to head into game number 2. I do agree with you. I think, I think the on-hit Varus is definitely a potential option here, right? A lot of melee champs on the side of Ronduit that you could just shred the health bars of as long as you space well on. We'll see. I mean, yeah, I think it could really go for either way, especially with the front line that Andromeda have. Like, they have a lot of skirmishers on their side, right? So as long as they're skirmishing around and just staying in the back line. Yeah, I think Grim did a great job of spacing that last game on the Jinx. So good offer that play style instead for this one.
Yeah, and I mean the draft for Andromeda, like they went with the Seraphine first pick, but then they drafted 2 really good champions to go with it. They drafted Xin Zhao, and then they drafted new Xin Zhao, who really want those enchanter supports to be able to have them stay in the fight for even longer with that heal that can come through while they are like kind of getting their own heal back and everything like that. So I feel like Mr. Lean's positioning is like very vital for these team fights to work as well as Andromeda does want, because Mr. Lean gets caught like by Dobbs on a flank and gets pulled into the Realm of Death. It could be very difficult for Andromeda to like actually get the team fight going the way that they want it to. But like or even if he gets hooked by Ipsy or like gets caught by Peas, like if Mr. Lean goes down like immediately before the fight starts out, you'll really have to rely on your mechanics.
That's right. And there's a ton of just general CC as well on the side of Ronduit, right? I mean, you got a lot of things that have just like hook kind of champs, right? The Nautilus, the Bandage Charles from the Mumu, the Chains from the Silas, and I mean you got CC as well on the Senna too. So I do like their composition, just like the last game. I think it's just going to depend on how they're going to play out these fights.
All right, I think we are having... All right, so we are having a few difficulties loading into game number 2 currently. So while we get those sorted out, we're just going to head to a short break here. So don't go anywhere. We'll be back in a couple of moments once we get those fixed.
Right, we are back. Thank you for your patience. And game has started. Game number 2. Andromeda on match point. Ronduit Resports has still a chance to force us into game number 3. Let's see if they can execute their late scaling comp or not. As looking at the runes here, it looks like it is going to be an on-hit Varus. So good call out there, Sean.
Yeah, and you can also see Kills listening to my wise words has gone Doran's Helm, which makes it even harder to push this Senna out of lane. But also, big thing, Dobbs with the Ignite in the top lane, looking for that 1v1 pressure over Ludicrous this time around. Cyclone, once again, going for the Ignite, not taking the TP. Typically something he does a lot is take Ignite in like much more aggressive matchups like this. So not really surprised to see that one, but definitely going to be interesting. Also, Mr. Lean going with the Arcane Comet is a bit of a surprise for me. Normally you see Airy or even Guardian coming out of the Seraphine, but he's looking for more of that poke damage instead of that sustainability because his team already has good sustain with Ludicrous and Coach Silent K on the double Xin Zhao's champions.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, especially with the on-hit Varus too, there's going to be a little bit less poke maybe coming from the Varus himself. So alternate Arcane Comet could be a solid choice there. I don't think it's going to make too much of a difference either way in the specific laning situation. But Cyclone looking to play this pretty aggressively into Versa. I'm very curious to see how that one's going to play out, especially after that last game. Cyclone had a fantastic one.
Yeah, and you can already see both junglers going opposite styles of they did in the first game, both pathing towards the top side here, but you can see now Coach Silent K already looking, or sorry, Black Eyed Peas already looking for a gank in the mid lane as Dobbs going all in on Ludicrous already.
That scrap's not going to land though, and I think that's going to stop that chase. But taking a good chance. Oh, a double flash there too. Flash from Black Eyed Peas, but flash response from Cyclone to avoid that gank. Trying to help out that mid lane as much as possible as we're seeing a slight CS differential already. The root is going to land onto Grim, and Verso already getting ignited. Has to be careful here, but that ignite is going to be down for a bit at least, and Verso does have that TP and Wave shoving in a bit, but Cyclone is already kind of low too, so may have to back at some point too.
Yeah, and, you know, despite having the flash early, Cyclone still gets back to the mid lane and finds a really good trade, but now Coach Silent K going for the invade onto Peas.
Black Eyed Peas had the better of it in that one, but looks like Coach Silent K is going to go for this specific fight, and it looks like, I believe, yeah, Black Eyed Peas might have secured that one too. And First Blood does go over to Verso. A great response, and Verso now grabbing that double buff.
Yeah, really well played by Verso there. Off the TP back mid lane, Peas is like, you need to come here right now because otherwise my game is over. And Verso gets in there, uses the abscond, flashes in to hit the abduct as soon as Coach redives onto Peas, and then they're just able to get the kill. We'll get the replay of it here. So you can see Verso and Cyclone in the mid lane. Cyclone gets a really good trade after Verso goes in aggressively, gets the ignite down, and the extra auto attack versus Verso to get this recall off, as we'll speed up a little bit here. Because the ward is still on the Raptors, Coach Silent K knows he's able to go for this invade, but the big thing is, because that mid wave was shoved and Verso was TPing back, he's like, well, Cyclone has to push this back out. I can make this roam over. And like you said, the smite does go over to Peas, so he's able to get that red buff. And then watch Verso here. He's going to come in. He's going to abscond, flash, abduct, stop the E in animation, and able to pick up that first blood. And it's just absolutely massive for the side of Ronduit Resports to be able to get that response play and get an early kill on Silas, a champion who can take over games.
Yeah, and I do like this Silas pick from Verso for a couple reasons, but I mean, I think there's, you know, some good ultimates you can steal in this one, but Verso was playing pretty aggressively on that Galio, just didn't really have the damage or kill pressure as we look to see it, trying to get that kill onto Cyclone. Does still have the double buffs, and Verso is going to land the abduct onto Cyclone, but Coach Silent K is there for additional backup. Cyclone, even though doesn't have a kill to his name, did get a good sizable CS lead, but that kill from Verso can even things out. But like I was saying, Verso playing very aggressively on the Galio. Last game just didn't have that damage. But Silas, whole different beast, and I think it maybe leans a lot more into Verso's playstyle.
Yeah, and you can see they're trying to punish the flashless Aurora there in the mid lane, but luckily, you know, Coach Silent K, right place, right time, could actually get punished here again. Trying to steal away these Raptors is gonna get them, but Peas was looking for it, and Verso was hovering as well, as Dredgeline not gonna connect, but now, because Coach Silent K is just playing this matchup so aggressively, it can be very difficult for Peas because Amumu is a jungler who, yes, he can gank and wants to gank, but he also really wants to have access to that Curse of the Sad Mummy, wants to hit 6 as soon as possible to make those ganks even more impactful. So getting a camp stolen here or there is actually very massive for the side of Ronduit Resports.
Yeah, and curious to see how the CS differentials are looking, as the goal differential is pretty much even in this early game. Looks like Andromeda is playing fairly aggressively here still in this game, but Ronduit is responding to that aggression. You can see actually a pretty sizable CS difference between Cyclone and Verso in that mid game. I mean, a lot of it was Verso there. As here comes Cyclone with the Between Worlds, going to do a good chunk of damage onto kills, but the last embrace is going to land onto Mr. and that will stop that gank in its tracks. Looks like, though, they are going to get a Drake on top of it for the troubles with that Prowl that they have in this bot lane.
Yeah, and Kills did have the flash there just because Cyclone did have that roam timer, but also in the meantime, a play had happened in the top side. Ludacris had to use the ultimate and the flash as well because he got put into the Death Realm, and Peas was there for the gank as well. But because enemy jungle is on top side, it means that first dragon is able to be secured by the side of Andromeda Esports. You're never too happy to have Hextech be the first Drake because you want that soul, but like, it's still a very powerful Drake as a one-off, as Verso gets a solo kill onto Coach Silent K.
All right, Verso all over the place as the last embrace does land onto Mr. Lean, but a little bit too far for the Dredge line follow-up. But Verso having a much better game to start things off. However, these kills are great, but this CS gap is growing rapidly as Cyclone almost 20 CS ahead right now in just 7 minutes, as the beat drop is not going to land onto kills, and Grim going to get rooted up. Going to take some good chunk of damage from Yipsy, and Mr. Lean pretty much out of mana. Kills super low on health though. Going to have to be really careful from this piercing arrow, but looks like Grim is just going to be content on freezing this wave and just taking some CS.
Yeah, and I mean, when we were looking at the gold difference, even though Cyclone had the gold lead, because Verso got the first blood, and because you get 300 gold for that once again, because the upgraded boots quest stuff isn't in the game anymore, he was up in gold, and now that he has a second kill, he's going to be up about probably about 400 gold now, because he was only up 100 gold before. Saying he was up in gold is like a stretch, as he's going to land the Abduct on the Cyclone.
Yeah, and Electrocute going to do a good chunk of damage. Black Eyed Peas is here. Tries to go for the Banish Drops, but is only going to land onto a minion. And they are putting the pressure onto Cyclone in this game, too. Not going to give it as much of an easy game as last game. Cyclone being crucial in why they were beaten so quickly in that last one. Coach K trying to help out his own mid laner here. But Cyclone's going to have to play a little bit carefully here, as Verso does not care about diving at all in any situation.
Yeah, and you can see that Peas just takes over to level 6 here, as now Dobbs and Ludacris fighting again, but pretty even in the fight so far. Now that Ludacris does have that Sheen, can trade back pretty well, but level 6 now picked up by Black Eyed Peas. Oh wait, hold on.
All right, here we go. We can see that it is going to be the Realm of Death being used from Dobbs. Can you get the Cultivation War? Here comes the Bandage Charge, so the follow-up not going to be the case, and Black Eyed Peas is going to be the one to take that kill. Ronduit Resports 3-0 to start things off in the second game. They do not want to go down without a fight.
Yeah, and this is kind of what I was expecting from the two undefeated teams so far coming into week 3. It's just the haymakers swung back and forth. Andromeda got the first one, but Ronduit is looking to get the second one. Yes, they don't have as significant as a lead as the Andromeda did in game number 1, but them being slightly ahead with, I would say, the better scaling composition is absolutely massive for them. And also Verso just having a better game, not letting Cyclone fully impact the game like he did before.
Oh, here comes the Encore, though, but Mr. Lean took so much damage already, and the Depth Charge is going to be used on top of it. Dawning Shadow is layered on top, and Shades of Corruption is going to land only onto the Nautilus, but here comes Cyclone for some additional assistance. So Verso is here as well, as Between Worlds is used. Ipsy gets out of there, and here stolen the Chains of Corruption, but Grim going to flash away from it, and they take Cyclone down in that trade. 5-0 now for Ronduit, and they're firing on all cylinders.
Oh, and they're looking for Coach. They know he's on this red buff.
Oh, and the Blast Cone is going to put Coach in a tough position, and now Coach Silent K going to drop the Crescent Guard and flashes over the wall too. Meanwhile, we get a shutdown on this bottom lane. Whoa, Verso must have been really deep there to be dying under turret like that. But Mr. Lane comes back just in time. Grim, though, pretty low on health. And Last Embrace is going to land. Oh, Piercing Arrow does push Kills back a bit. And Kills going to have to be a little bit careful staying in this lane as the fight just keeps on going. Ludacris is going to use that Grim Deliverance, and the Cultivation of War is popped, so he should be able to resurrect after this. And I don't know, I think Rondo's got to be a little bit careful about this, as this is still a Zahen now at half health and could heal up a lot of it right away. And they're okay with just taking that passive off of him for now.
Yeah, but it's actually very big that he doesn't get punished again after the resurrection. Okay, I was going to say, if Dobbs recalls, it's really rough for him because of where the wave state was and not having TP available just yet because he hasn't completed that top lane quest. Is Ludacris going to stop Peas from that recall? Cyclone's in the top lane again.
Oh, and Cyclone going to pick up the kill on the Black Eyed Peas. I mean, yeah, was it worth it for a few minions? Maybe, but if you give up your life for it, it's not going to be the case, as the jungler is going to be the first to fall, and now they're about to try to pincer off this Mordekaiser. Cyclone just taunting there with the recalls. Oh, going to take some turret shots, though. Maybe not fully necessary here, as Dobbs and Ludacris are going to dish out of it, but you do have the turret to defend Dobbs for the time being. No one is here available to go for it, but Dobbs is going for the 1v2 and flashing away is Ludacris, and Ludacris does eventually pick up the kill. Could have been a tough one there, and that would have not been worth it if they weren't able to grab both those kills, but they do manage to do it in exchange for a flash.
Not landing that final obliterate is the downfall of Dobbs. He was trying to predict Ludacris juking back, but Ludacris presses the S key, stops moving completely, and then they're able to get that kill onto Dobbs. A really good rotation there at a Cyclone to get those 2 kills up there in the top lane, getting some much needed gold into both him and to Ludacris. But I'm curious how, oh wait, Verso now going to be ganked in the mid lane, flash in.
Yeah, Between Worlds going to be used, and there's just nowhere to go. No mana even either, and Cyclone going to get killed back over. And now things are starting to even out a bit in this game. It was 5-0, like what, a few minutes ago. Now it's 4-5, and it's actually Andromeda that has the gold lead. On top of it, they're looking for their second Drake. But the Mumu is in this area. I think he's just going to go for the blue buff. Doesn't really have vision of this. But maybe now they are starting to rotate over as they do have their bot laners ready for this fight. Kills has almost no mana left, though. As here comes the Encore. It is going to charm up Kills, but Grim's going to be the first to fall. Looks like Coach 9K just desperate to grab this Drake for the meanwhile, as the bot lane giving up their lives for this crucial objective. And they do indeed get it, but at what cost? As Mr. Lean's going to go down to a double kill going over to Black Eyed Peas. Coach 9K's got to be careful, as Cyclone is here too, and they don't want to give just the Drake. They want some kills back, as Verso is going to go in here. Black Eyed Peas does fall, but Coach 9K falls in response.
Yeah, and yes, they got the dragon on the side of Andromeda Esports, but their bot lane falls down. Kills gets a lot of stacks. Verso TP's in, gets another kill for himself. Yes, they were able to pick off Peas, but I think on the side of Ronduit, you're fine with that play happening because, one, you get the souls you need on Senna to get that scaling going, to get that increased range, to get that increased crit chance, everything you want on Senna to be having. And another kill onto Verso on the Silas, 4-2 now, has that Proto Belt, an item ahead of his counterpart. But more importantly, like, it's only the second dragon for Andromeda. On the side of Ronduit, you have to feel like your team fight is better than the side of Andromeda, so you're fine with fighting for dragons later in the game. You just want to try to get to a better spot to fight for them earlier than later, and getting those souls on kills is absolutely massive for them. Just very well played by them. They could find Grim again.
Oh, Banner Charles is going to land. So does the Last Embrace, and Grim doesn't have a lot of places to go, as it was able to use the ultimate to slow things down a bit. But here comes Verso from the other side, and like I said, this composition, there's just chains and hooks everywhere. It is hard to run away from it, as looks like the Norns might have DC'd a bit.
Yeah, I was going to say,
back into it.
I think Ipsy found a way to run away from his own hooks and chains and his team comp, as they find Cyclone, but he gets so much damage.
Oh my gosh, and the tower shot is going to secure the kill for Cyclone. Now Cyclone going for the 1v2, and this is not what they're looking for if you're Ronduit to try to even up this game. But hold on, the Bandit Charles almost lets Cyclone go down to the turret. Does take 1 or 2 turret shots in response, but they get 2 right back, and now again they're still ahead on golds, and they're losing their jungle on top of it.
So, I thought we were going to get a replay, but we're back into live very quickly. I mean, the thing that was massive in that play is that kills
flash away from the Encore. Dredgeline doesn't land as well, so skill shots not landing on either side as Last Embrace does land onto Grim, but way too close to the turret to do anything as both ADCs do have that Sag Shiv. But yeah, I mean, I think they're just going to be skirmishing here as it looks like Black Eyed Peas wants to still keep his jungle as much as possible. 2 levels down though. Wait, hold on. The prediction there from the Bandit Straws to flash away, but the Bandit Straws properly placed right in the right position. Kosan K takes so long to go down though. Curse Sad Mummy is going to be used, and it's going to be Verso that gets a kill. And Black Eyed Peas, what a crazy play.
Yeah, I don't think Peas predicted that, if we're being honest. I think he whiffed that, and Coach Silent K said, I got you, buddy. Don't worry. As we're getting a replay of this mid lane play as Yipsy is disconnecting, reconnecting. So they go in here onto Cyclone, but he just gets into turret range as Verso goes in. And because the Parallel Worlds is out, just gets so much burst damage with the Storm Surge as well. He's just able to pick that one up. And now the crucial part of this play, Peas baits this out very well, gets Cyclone under turret, but the ult from Kills is not in range to give the shield over to Black Eyed Peas, which I think would have traded Cyclone's life back. Like, yes, he would have fallen down, but I think they would have gotten the kill onto Cyclone there. And as we accelerate here, we're going to see the play onto Coach Silent K as he goes for this red buff steal after the Krug steal.
Yeah,
so
getting a little greedy here, but that move does come back up here. And maybe not a predict here, but give Black Eyed Peas a little bit credit. That was a pretty cool looking play at the minimum. But yeah, let's see how this plays out as they're going to just skirmish a bit. And he, wow, that's wild though. Yeah,
flashed into it, and then because also Cyclone recalled after getting the wave in, they're just able to chase him down, use all their CC in their kit, get Verso another kill. I think he's sitting at 5-2 now, 5-3. So really massive. And yes, he's down a lot of CS, but he's 5-3. And Silas, once he hits level 16 and has access to like every ultimate in a team fight, is absolutely amazing, as Cyclone is going to pick up that first turret solo in the mid lane without grubs.
Yeah, and I think the very scary part is not really the Silas CS differential. It's the top side, the jungler and the Mordekaiser, right? The Mumu and the Mordekaiser being that far behind, especially Black Eyed Peas, I should say, almost over like 50 CS differential already into Coach IK, even though Coach IK's actually died even one more time. But that's really going to explain the 2-level difference between that, as Coach IK, stealing a lot of Black Eyed Peas jungle. And now it's going to be Soul Point spawning for the side of Andromeda. So I think Ronduit is going to have to try to contest this if they can, but I don't know if they're strong enough to take this team fight.
And a big thing is because Peas has been getting counter jungled a lot, you can see he's not at his fully upgraded smite. So 50-50, it doesn't exist. Coach Silent K just always wins out on the smite fights, and that is massive as the side of Ronduit looking for a big play here.
Yeah, missing the Banshots and the Dredge line, but Verso does steal the Encore away, and that could be pretty game-changing in this fight. Looks like both top laners do have TP available if they want to join in for this one too. Looks like maybe Ronduit is thinking better of it. Let's see if they're going to try to cheese him with this bush or just give this up. I think they want to take this fight though, but the level differential is not looking great for them. If they could sandwich them between the side of the wall of the river and the Drake, it could be okay. And I think Andromeda, not enough vision, don't really want to go for this just yet and give up their lead.
Yeah, I mean, they could look for a play on the Cyclone here, but you can already see on the minimap they're rotating over for this on the side of Andromeda, so it could turn south for the side of Ronduit.
All right, Dredge line is going to land onto their bot lane here, but onto Cyclone, I should say. But Kill is going to have to run for it, taking a lot of damage. Oh, the flash roll from Cyclone, just not enough, though, as Barry is popped. The kid Kills alive for a time being, but now finally goes down to Coach Silent K. Yipsy dance around with 1 HP. Meanwhile, the Encore is going to land onto Grim, but there's not enough follow-up damage, and that's 2 kills going over to Coach Silent K. And things are, again, snowballing towards the side. Andromeda, they might be down kills, but they are way ahead on gold, CS, and levels, and definitely on Drakes.
Yeah, and that was just a really good rotation play by Andromeda. Like, Cyclone lived for so long. Aurora is so hard to lock down if you miss the initial CC because she can go between worlds, because she can use the weirding as well, and just has a lot of escape tools. And also, massively, Kills wasn't really involved in that fight. Coach Silent K kind of solo zoned Kills out when he went for that onslaught of shadows, and then immediately is just able to turn into a positive play for the side of Andromeda. They're able to get the retreat kills onto both Peas and onto Versa when he comes in, as Ludacris gonna try to trade his best up here with Dobbs. It's a pretty even trade overall, but I think with this recall timer, Ludacris should just get this top turret.
Yeah, TP is up for Dobbs, and Dobbs looking like going to have to stay for this one too. And Ludacris isn't really fully healthy himself, so maybe just going to recall for this item. But not even fully complete item for Dobbs yet. I mean, probably has a gold for it, but did opt for that Bramble Vest instead to just slow down some of the scaling of Ludacris. But Ludacris is getting pretty scary strong soon, and this next 5v5 fight could be a bad time for them, as they're up about 4k gold on the side of Andromeda, and not as dominant of a early game as last game, but still looking pretty good.
Yeah, and you can see a big downfall of Peas this game is, like you said, he's down a lot of CS. But that's also because he's been, like, just ganking for his lanes on repeat, and that means he's down a full item here. It's 2 items for Coach Silent K, while it's only that Leandri's 4 Black Eyed Peas, so he's not super tanky in this game, where you could expect a Mumu at this point to have 2 items, have those resistances, have that extra HP and everything like that. So it can be difficult. You can see second item already completed, 4 kills here with that Hex Optics. So he didn't go the Deathfire Touch, which is good on Senna. Yes, it doesn't proc with the Black Cleaver anymore, but Senna already procced it twice with Q and Black Cleaver, so like it wasn't really necessary to proc a third time with the DFT. But looking to have that more damage output build with the Hex Optics, probably going to go for a LDR as his third item, I would have to assume, and just really trying to be pumping out as much damage as possible in these team fights. 2 items completed for Cyclone, Storm Surge, and the I almost said Abyssal Mask. I'm literally blanking on the name right now. Oh
Shadow
my
Flame.
God. Shadow Flame. I was like, it's like a headpiece kind of mask thing. Like, there's so many masks in League of Legends and headgear. It's kind of ridiculous.
There sure is. Yeah, and meanwhile, I mean, not a single Foley item completed for Dobbs on this top side. Again, going for that Bramble is going to slow things down a bit. Ludacris only on, 1.5 items himself, so not too bad. But there's not enough kill pressure, and already about a 30 CS differential on this top side as well. It's getting a little bit tough for the side of Ronduit, but they always have that late game potential from Kills, and Kills is trying to keep up as much of CS as possible, and is going to be that late game carry if they can protect him. We'll see though, as Coach Silent K again invading Black Eyed Peas jungle. At this point, this topside jungle is just his.
Oh, no,
here we go. Yipsy going to be calling a tough position between worlds. It's going to be used, and oh my gosh, Kills just gets exploded on sight, and their bot lane just falls instantly, just trying to get some vision for their fellow jungler, but just not able to do it. And now the score is 11-11, but it does not feel like a tie game any way, shape, or form, as they're looking to secure Baron on top of it.
Yeah, Ipsy kind of just walked in between like all 5 members of Andromeda and then immediately gets picked off. The Encore goes through him onto Kills, even through the barrier, just falls down immediately.
Oh, through the wall, Chains of Corruption is going to land, and Black Eyed Peas just gets exploded as well. I mean, that's the Storm Surge Shadow Flame combination, plus the tier 3 boost from Cyclone. You say Cyclone likes playing Assassins, and this, I know Aurora's a mage, but Aurora's acting a little bit like Assassin this game.
I don't believe anybody who says Aurora's a mage. This is a full burst assassin style champion. Like, they're like, we're releasing another AP assassin in lock after we already released Aurora. Like you don't need 2 back-to-back, Riot. But regardless of that, just like also very well played by Coach Silent K. As soon as the Chain of Corruptions lands out of Grim, just immediately goes in on Peas, just removes the 50-50 completely from the play, and now it lets them set up for Dragon Soul. And this is the one thing I don't like about Platinum teams when they get Baron, is they're immediately like, our Soul spawning in 40 seconds, we have to take it. It's like, no, you're guaranteed it anyway, but hold on.
Well, maybe they're not trying to go for it, as Coach Cyan K is going to have to pop the Crescent Guard, and the Band Toss is going to land. Oh, but the huge Encore is going to land on the 3 members. Dawn Shout is going to be used over it. Encore going to be thrown back over as it was stolen, as Grim Deliverance is used. Cultivation of War is there, but I don't think Ludicrous is even going down. And now you got Dobbs. Yes, Dobbs takes out the support, just Mr. Lean, but what else can you do? I don't think too much, as Grim is going to be the one to secure up that kill. Almost a full ace. It's just the lone of Mumu, but Mumu can't do much. 4 lows behind the top laner, 3 lows behind Cyclone, 2 lows behind his counterparts, and just not enough damage. Only build defensively now with that Sunfire, and I don't think they can end the game here, but they could probably get an inhibitor right after this, as they still have the Baron buff there. And yeah, I think that's going to be exactly what they're going to do. Meanwhile, Coach Cyan K working on that Soul.
Yeah, and Coach just lived for so long once he popped that Crescent Guard. Like, Ronduit had to invest so much to just stay on top of him and not even take him down. Lean with a really nice use of that Encore, and Verso stole it away and got a good one as well, but it just didn't matter because the damage was already done, and Coach just healed up for so much. And yes, Dobbs brought Lean into the realm of death, but it took him so long to kill him that it really didn't matter. So it was just very well played by Andromeda, just knowing the limits of their champions so extremely well. And now it is the soul secured for Andromeda. An Ocean Soul with that team comp that they have is kind of disgusting, if I'm going to be honest. Like, they already heal so much. Getting even more healing and shielding power is just insane for them.
Yeah, it's not looking good at all for Ronduit. Yes, they're hanging on here as they survive past the 25-minute mark, but the macro from Andromeda is just looking too good, and it just resulted in all the CS leads and level advantage they have in the item leads. I mean, like, yeah, the kill score isn't that crazy, but the gold differential and soul differential is kind of insane, as Coach Cyan K again grabbing more of this poor Mumu's jungle, over 70 CS differential already for the Xin Zhao. Like, it doesn't even matter if they die the same amount of times. It's not really going to do anything for this Xin Zhao, as meanwhile, they're going to try to go onto Ludicrous. They're landing everything onto him, and I don't think Ludicrous will make it out of it. Wait, actually, Grim Deliverance is going to get him out for now, but Dredgeline does connect. He's just so beefy and heals everything back up. They dropped everything onto this Zahen, and 3v1 still makes it out alive.
Kills auto attack the minion instead of the Zahen, and that's really what lets him escape there.
Oh, Encore going to be layered over to the bot lane of Ronduit, and kills only going to be just shredded shortly after. This might be the last and final fight, as Coach Cyan K is going to be in the realm of death versus Dobbs, but I don't think Coach Cyan K even minds this. Going to just keep fighting the Mordekaiser in his realm, and it's going looking like Black Eyed Peas is going to be the last to fall, and that's an ace, and that's probably the game. Only a few seconds, 20 seconds to go, and there's just no way they can stop it, even if they come up with a respawn. Andromeda in the power rankings, #1, and they look like they want to secure that spot continuously as they go 2-0 and making it look easy against the other undefeated team of Ronduit.
Yeah, and I mean, the early game looked so much better for Ronduit, but it was the mid game where Andromeda came online, just winning out on all these team fights and just went absolutely ballistic with their composition. And I think a big thing of that, as you mentioned, was that jungle CS difference. Because Coach was just stealing away everything from Black Eyed Peas, it just made it so hard for him to actually play that game and like really contribute the way you want to with an Amumu. Just wasn't really as tanky as you would expect. Did some decent damage, had some good ults, as a lot of the members on the side of Ronduit did, but it was just too little too late for them.
Yeah, beautiful gameplay as well. I mean, and that was what that game started out 5-0 on the side of Ronduit, right? Things were looking good. Looked like they were going to try to force that game #3, but the response from Andromeda was just too strong. And even though Coach Cyan K died a couple times in the topside jungle of Ronduit, they didn't care. They just kept going for it. They kept invading, and eventually, even if they lost their jungler, they were getting CS leads and level advantages elsewhere on the map to the point where they just couldn't even team fight it. And look at that damage from Cyclone as well, just leading the pack. Fantastic back-to-back games from Cyclone, but honestly, across the board too, I think the entire team played really well from the side of Andromeda, and they're a scary force to be reckoned with this split.
Yeah, and I think Ronduit's going to be fine. I think this is just maybe like a one-off playing what is debatably the best team here in Divinity. you know, can just be rough sometimes. It just could be a rough matchup for you guys, but you know, they could bounce back from this easily. Hope to play them in playoffs and look like a completely different matchup where they're the ones to be able to come out on top. But it is only week 3, so a lot of games left to play. Still 4 more weeks for both of these teams, and I think both of these teams are kind of slated to be able to make it into that playoffs, and we'll be able to see a lot more out of both of them.
Yeah, maybe we get a rematch someday too. And I'm sure Ronda wants that redemption opportunity. But we're still a few more weeks from that. And we appreciate you all for joining for us in Divinity League. And if you want to support Titan Esports, you can check out the merch store at FOFesports.com and then look up Titan Esports on that to grab any merch that you're looking for all the seasons. But that's going to do it for us. Any final words, Sean?
Yeah, I mean, Sebs might not like this one, but shout out my goat McFeeds for letting the Titan PDL happen. Pokemon Draft League, always a banger. If y'all are into Pokemon, just come check it out. We run a lot of seasons, sometimes all season events. Whole lot of fun, really good community over there, and it's been running since all the way back in the clown days, thanks to the man who runs these leagues, Mr. Sebs himself. So shout out Sebs, shout out McFeeds for making it work for all of us.
All right. And shout out to Shirogan for running the broadcast, Kieran Tosa for the observer duties, and Tron for being my wonderful co-caster, and for you all for tuning in. But until next time, we'll see you next Monday for another week of Divinity League. Until then, have a good one, y'all. Peace.